No matter what we do, it's never enough. I know that song. It's from, what's it from? The Greatest Showman. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nira. If you're not, welcome to my channel. Where we talk about books. As you can see, all the books that are sitting behind me. But as you can tell, today's video is going to be the March TBR and all the books that I plan on reading for the month of March. So as you know, here, if you're not new on this channel, we read a lot of books that are written by Black women about Black women, because I'm a Black woman, and one thing I'm gonna do is support Black people, because Black excellence is always great and it should always be shined. And I don't even know how to express it. Like, it's just such a great thing to be able to read books by other Black women, as someone who is also a writer and loves to write and loves to read. So that's what we're doing. But I'm gonna give you like a quick glance of all the books that I plan on reading for the month of March. So these are all the books that I'm planning on reading. One of them I bought like 2 or 3 years ago, and then two of them I got in undergrad. One I had to help me write my poems and pretty much write my capstone thesis paper in undergrad, and then the other one was a gift from my capstone professor in undergrad. Her name is Gail Thompson. She actually has books that she's written herself, and I will link them down below so you can go, read them, support her, all those things. She's one of the main reasons that I ended up actually getting into poetry and writing poetry and realizing that is something that I love to do. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through these books. So let's go ahead and let's get started so I don't take up too much of your time of me yapping. But that's the whole point of this channel, is so that I can yap and talk to you guys about books. Because what else is there to do? So we're gonna start with the Black Girl Must Die Exhausted series. So this series is written by Jayne Allen. And like I said, I had this book already. It's been sitting on my shelf for about, I would say, I think I got this in 2023 maybe. It was 2023. It was around the time I started dating my boyfriend. So that's when I got this book, and then I never read it because I knew that it was a series, but I could never get myself to actually read it because I don't think this book series is about romance. I think it's about like her finding herself. And in honor of it being March, this is the spring equinox, and this is technically when the new year starts. I feel like this was a great series to read in honor of that. But it's a 3-book series. So we have Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. Then we have Black Girls Must Be Magic, which I love this one because it's purple, and purple is one of my favorite colors. And then we have Black Girls Must Have It All, which is blue, and this one's probably my favorite one, the way that it looks. I just love this book. It's just so pretty. But I actually bought all of these, so I did not borrow these from the library because I just have a feeling that I will end up liking this series. But I have all 3, but I'm going to read now what this book is about. Tabitha Walker is a Black woman with a plan to have it all. At 33 years old, the checklist for the life of her dreams is well underway. Education, check. Good job, check. Down payment for a nice house, check. Dating, marriage material, check, check, check. With a coveted position as a local news reporter, a paper-perfect boyfriend, and even standing Saturday morning appointment with a reliable hairstylist, everything seems to be falling into place. Then Tabby receives an unexpected diagnosis that brings her picture-perfect life crashing down, jeopardizing the keystone she took for granted, having children. With her dreams at risk of falling through the cracks of her checklist, suddenly she is faced with an impossible choice between her career, her dream home, and her family of her own. With the help of her friends, the irrelevant, headstrong Layla and Alexis, the mom dreams wearing former sexy Lexi, and the generational wisdom of her grandmother and non-Nigerian firebrand Miss Gretchen, Tabby explores the reaches of modern medicine and tests the limits of a relationship, hoping to establish the future she always dreamed of. But the fight is all-consuming, demanding a steep price that forces an honest reckoning for everyone in her life. As Tabby soon learns her grandma's age, a dodge, I think that's I guess that's how you say that word, just still might be true. Black girls must die exhausted. And I agree with that because there's not a single thing we can do in this life that's still never enough for people, I fear. No matter what we do, it's never enough. I know that song. It's from, what's it from? The Greatest Showman. That's where it's from. Funny backstory on that. I actually didn't want to watch it when it first came out. I thought it was so weird. And then freshman year of undergrad, I watched it with some friends and fell in love with it. And then it became my personality for a very long time. And now you can't pay me to watch it again because I just refuse to sit there and go through the whole thing again. But I will listen to the soundtrack easily. Are those books? I'm excited. I actually just read a review where somebody said that it was too stereotypical and blah 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 and blah 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 blah. Unfortunately, you're not going to make everybody happy when you write a book. And granted, yes, there are some things that could be written about black women that is a stereotype. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you write a character that's black and she doesn't act like a stereotype, you have people that complain that it's not realistic, that she doesn't act like blah blah blah. And then if you do write a character and she does play into the stereotypes, or she does fit like a certain standard of what people think, then people are still mad. Just a bunch of policing of black women that shouldn't exist in the first place. Hence why there are stereotypes in the first place, because they're being policed. And now we're going to move on to the next book, which is Black Girl Call Home Poems by Jasmine Mans. I love this cover because this is just such a great triage or homage to black girls, little black girls, of wearing like the little clip pieces and the knockers in their hair, all the things that I did. And now I literally wear beads in my hair when I twist them. So it's just so great to me. But we're doing poetry. And the reason I'm picking poetry instead of just doing some novels, sometimes it's fun to read novels and sometimes you want to read something different. And I want to test myself to be able to write poetry again because I haven't written any since last year. And I mean, at the time I was reading a bunch of poetry, so it made sense that I was writing it. In order for me to write it, I have to read it. Hopefully, if I read these books, then maybe I'll write the poetry. So if you watch this video, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to ask me if I've written any poetry since this video and see if I actually did it or if I'm just yapping just to yap, because I do that sometimes and that's okay. That is okay. But this book basically is a love letter to the wandering black girl and vital companion to any woman on a journey to find truth, belonging, and healing. And I think this book ties very much well into Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. I am so excited to read it. I love reading poetry by black women because we wouldn't have been able to do stuff like that if it wasn't for Phyllis Whitley. And if you don't know who that is, she's literally the pioneer as to why a lot of black women write what they write. On top of her, you have Audre Lorde and Crystal Wilkinson, who I'm also rereading in this book. I think that'll be fun to read her. The next book is called Magical Negro. And it's funny. Like I said, my professor, who's now one of my acquaintances, she got me this book. This is a graduation gift. And the reason that she got it for me is because we were having a conversation about how there are people who are not black, people who like to date black women. And they would say that they date us because we are so magical and we're so different. And it would always be in regards to our sexual life and the fantasies that they've created about black women. And I remember sitting in one of my classes, I think it was poetry and social justice, and I made the statement that black women don't have magical vaginas. We don't have that. We have the exact same thing that everybody else has. It's just a different color. That's it. And she told me to write a poem about it. I think I did, but I don't know where it's at now. So I might write a new one. But we have the same parts. So stop trying to say that we don't. And that's just your excuse to try to get in my pants. Just say what you want and then we won't have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Just be honest. Let's just be real. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Y'all know that song? I only know that one part. That's it. So, but here's the synopsis of what this book is about. Magical Negro is an archive of black everydayness, a catalog of contemporary folk heroes, and ethnography of ancestral grief. And can I read an inventory of figureheads, idioms, and customs? These American poems are both an elegy, jive, joke, and declaration, song of congregation, and self-conception. They connect themes of loneliness, displacement, grief, and sexual trauma, objectification, while exploring troubling tropes and stereotypes of black Americans. Focus primarily on a depiction of black womanhood alongside personal narratives. Collection tackles interior and exterior politics, both the body and society, and of both individual and collective experience. In Magical Negro, Parker creates a space of witness, of airing grievances, of pointing out patterns. In these poems as living documents, pleas, latent trauma, inside jokes, and unspoken anxieties, situated as infirm, past in the present, and timeless black melancholies and triumphs. This book is written by Megan Morgan Parker. So I've read some of it, but I never finished it. So that's the goal. Is the reason I'm rereading these last two poetry books is because I read them, but I didn't read them. There's a difference. Because when you're reading poetry, yes, you're reading it because, oh, it's going to be great. But I also read poetry in the lens of what are they doing that's making the poem stand out from what we know about traditional poetry? Are some elements in this poem that I could take and use in my own element? And then if someone's like, oh, I like what you did there, how'd you come up with that? And then I could be like, oh, it was because I read such and such poem by such and such poet. You should go read it too. That's why I read poetry. And also I read it because not a lot of people understand the world of poetry, and I can understand that because it can be a little difficult, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try it just because it's difficult. that people would never do anything if it was too hard. I feel about that. Now, the next book, like I said, I already read it, but I'm reading it again because it's Chris Wilkinson. Who doesn't love Chris Wilkins? It's called The Perfect Black. I actually read this book in my Black contemporary women writers class, the class that I was in with a bunch of white people, and I was the only Black woman in it. So you can imagine what that experience was like for me. It's one of my favorite books. I love the art on it. It has a foreword by Nikki Finney. I know that is. You should go read some of her work too as well. Crystal Wilkinson is amazing. She's written so many books and poems that are amazing, and she's also been poet laureate. So that was also fun. And that's like one of the highest honors that you can get as a poet. This book combines a deep love for rural roots with a passion for language and storytelling and compelling collection of poetry, prose about girlhood, racism, and political awakening. Imbued with the vivid imagery of growing up in South Appalachia, in Perfect Black, the acclaimed writer muses on such topics as motherhood, politics of her Black body, lost fathers, mental illness, sexual abuse, and religion. It is a captivating conversation about life, love, loss, and pain, interwoven with the striking illustrations by her longtime partner, Ronald W. Davis. So you can see the theme in all of these books is that it's about Black women going through their trauma, working through their trauma, figuring out who they are, because we live in a society where we are expected to be portrayed and show ourselves and display ourselves. And when you don't do those things, then you pretty much piss off everybody. You piss off everyone that is around you because they've made up this concoction of what they think that you are. And then when you don't fit that, boy, do they get mad. They be real mad. And then if you embrace it, the fact that you're different and that you don't follow the status quo, you're just adding more fuel to the fire. But I don't care. Burn that bitch up. Burn it up. That's how I feel about it. That's just me though. Because one thing about me, I'm gonna do what I want unapologetically. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because I'm gonna do whatever I want anyways. Because I love being Black and I love being a Black woman. Because who doesn't? Love a Black woman to infinity, like Queen Latifah said. So this is what these books are about, and I honestly cannot wait. And then it's also around the perfect time, like I said, of the Spring Equinox. And then this month is also on March 10th, is like Black Women like Appreciation Day. So it just everything ties in. Everything ties in together, and it's just amazing. And I hope that when I read these books, I can find other authors, other poets that write about this, and you guys can do this, and I can't wait. I'm probably going to start with the Black Girls Must Die Exhausted series first, so then I can spend the rest of the month deep diving through my poetry books, because I know that doing the poetry books won't take long, but if I go ahead and read this series, then I can focus on that. And the series, as you can tell, these books aren't even that big. That should be a breeze for me. But if you guys like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And just, hit that bell notification button so you can get notifications every single time I go live. Not even just live, when I post a video. Because that's what we do. We post videos, we have a good time. And if you haven't watched my last few videos, you should. I did my February TBR, my recap, and then I have my birthday vlog. So it'd be really appreciated if you go and watch those videos, comment, all the beautiful things. And I have all of my socials linked down below. As always, just remember to choose happy, be happy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love you. Bye.